Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea, how the way you see the world can literally change your reality. We're going to unpack a fascinating story that shows how our own internal perspective can either be our biggest roadblock or our greatest strength. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's start with a simple story. Picture this. A shoe company sends two of its top salesmen out to a brand new territory to see if there are any business opportunities. They head out, check out different areas, and get ready to report back to headquarters.
And the reports they send back, well, they couldn't be more different. One salesman sees a bunch of people with no shoes and basically says, "Pack it up, there's no market here." But the other guy, he sees the exact same thing and realizes he stumbled upon a gold mine, an incredible untapped opportunity. It's the same set of facts, right? But two totally opposite conclusions.
And that's really the heart of it. Our perspective literally shapes the opportunities in front of us. It's not just about what you're seeing, but how you're seeing it. One guy saw a total dead end. The other saw a reason to get incredibly excited.
Now, this whole idea of perspective, it becomes absolutely critical when we're standing on the edge of a huge life decision. One of those moments that's filled with both incredible promise and, a lot of risk.
This is captured so perfectly in this quote from Janet Rand. The greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. What does that really mean? It means the person who tries to avoid all risk, who never puts themselves out there, well, they end up doing nothing, having nothing, and kind of being nothing. The real danger isn't that you might fail. The real danger is refusing to even try in the first place.
So to explore that question, let's turn to the central story from our source material. It's about a whole community of people who are brought right to the very edge of a new life, a promised land, after this incredibly long and difficult journey.
And this timeline just shows you the sheer weight of this moment. I mean, think about it. Their entire history, 650 years of struggle, a miraculous escape, decades wandering in the wilderness. It has all led them to this one single point of decision. Everything they'd been through hinged on whether or not they would take that next step.
But before taking that huge step, they decided, hey, let's assess the risk. Be prudent. So they sent a team of scouts to go check out this new land and bring back a full report.
12 leaders, one from each of their tribes, were chosen for this mission. This was a critical assignment.
And they spent 40 long days surveying everything, the land, the people, the resources, while an entire nation just waited, anxiously. You can just imagine the tension building and building during that time.
And just like those two salesmen, they came back with two wildly different reports. 10 of the spies saw the same things: big cities, strong inhabitants, and they were just paralyzed with fear. Their conclusion: we seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes. But two of the others, Joshua and Caleb, they saw the exact same things and focused on the promise, on the potential, and on their own strength.
And this brings us to the absolute core concept from this story, a state of mind that our source calls the grasshopper mentality.
Now, this isn't just about being afraid. It's a really deep-seated belief that you are fundamentally, hopelessly mismatched for the challenge that's in front of you. It's that moment when your own self-perception becomes your biggest enemy.
And this is the crucial point. The giants, they were real. The challenges were totally legitimate. But the failure wasn't because the giants existed. The failure was in what the spies believed about themselves in relation to those giants. They saw themselves as tiny, insignificant grasshoppers. And because of that, they were defeated before the fight even began.
So the source tells this great story about a guy named Monty Roberts. When he was a boy, he wrote this super detailed essay about his dream of owning a horse ranch. His teacher gave him an F, said it was totally unrealistic. After thinking about it, Monty just handed the paper back and told him, "You can keep your F, and I'm going to keep my dream." He just flat out refused to let someone else's disbelief shrink his potential.
And this right here is the perfect antidote to that grasshopper feeling. The singer Ethel Waters, who was born into some incredibly tough circumstances, she overcame her past by grabbing onto this powerful belief. She just chose to see her own inherent worth, refusing to see herself as small or insignificant. It's this profound shift, right, from a grasshopper mentality to one of real empowerment.
So all of this, it all builds to a final choice. When we find ourselves standing at our own personal threshold, the story suggests there are basically 3 different ways we can respond.
The first way is basically procrastination. It's like standing on the edge of the diving board, looking the part but having zero intention of actually jumping. The second is distraction. You get the invitation to a better life, but you're just too busy with other stuff to RSVP, and you end up missing the whole thing. And then there's the third way, commitment. It's saying, here I am, and taking that step of faith, knowing the risk is there, but choosing the promise anyway.
And in the end, that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? A choice. We all face giants in our lives, and we all stand at the edge of some kind of promise. The question this story leaves us with is this: when you get those two reports back, and you will, which one are you going to believe? The one that screams about the obstacles, or the one that whispers about the opportunity? The choice and the perspective is always entirely yours.